we traditionalists still believe that the land is owned by the people. So it's not a public road. That junction is owned by the people. A bit of correction. Now, the background I was talking about, right? Now, you just talked about cradle of civilization, people coming to study in Africa. It wasn't just Egypt. I'm sure it was all over. I'll just use 3 minutes to do this, right? How did your ancestors worship God? God. Now, look at it this way. Now, the community, let's use Wezina, for example. I come from Acheru, Wezina. Now, when they need divination, they go to the chief priest. Quietly. They go to the chief priest and they gather. And they tell him whatever their problem is.
Yeah.
Now, he now goes to the inner chamber, right? To the inner chamber and consults God. Then he comes back and says, God says you have sinned. You've done wrong. Oh, you slept with a pregnant woman. Oh, you did this. You must wash away those sins. So you must slaughter a goat. They do that and they get their cleansing. That's how we did it. 800, 900 years ago, without any contact with the white man. True or false?
I like to say that's true.
How did Israel worship God?
They were
They go to the outer courts. Then there is the inner chamber. And there's the Holy of Holies.
Where the priest
were
only allowed.
So only the priest goes to the Holy of Holies. He comes out and says, "Oh Israel, you have sinned. And you must slaughter a fattened calf.
Okay.
Or a lamb without blemish." And when they slaughter that lamb, he tells them, God has cleansed the land. Was there a difference? We worshipped God. But just because a few journeymen Europeans got into a boat, guns in one hand, Bible in another hand, and dragging a bag of goodies, cutting material and stuff, deceived our ancestors. And then they told our ancestors that what we are doing was wrong and they had the real deal. But we did the same thing. So we have always worshipped God, right? Whether you do it in a temple, which is a big room, or you do it in a temple, a small room, which they call a shrine, because they think ours is bad. So they called ours a shrine.
And there's a temple.
Yes. So we all worship God in the same way. A bit of background so we know where we're heading to.
Jude, good morning.
Good morning.
And I greet China in the studio.
Good morning, JJ.
Let me use my language to pray for you. Hello?
Hello, yeah, go on, JJ.
Yes. I just prayed for him now.
Mm.
And
What
God
did you pray?
will always be with you.
Yeah, Orisha,
And
yeah.
that is our own God now, not the other one they brought.
Okay.
Will also be with you. Now, what am I saying? I remember a festival that we do in our place. The Benin people also do the same festival. The Igwe festival.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
And within the days of the Igwe festival, on the last day, there's what they call a were. Women will march through the entire town with their firewood. They will light it the way you see when you are watching those ox fights, how they carry their lanterns. So they will march through the street till when they get to the river, they invoke all the evil spirits and quench that wood, the firewood, inside that river. That is part of cleansing the town and also chasing out evil
spirits.
Forces.
Yes.
Amen. Now, some of those things, we don't do them anymore because the forces that are fighting against the innocent spirit is like it's more. Lots of people, when I came to this Port Harcourt, I noticed that lots of people are not proud of having this deity in their areas. Like if you go to Warri, somebody you can say, I'm looking for Mr. Jude, I'm looking for Mr. China. The first question they will ask you, is it that Mr. China that worship Igwe? Or Mr. Jude that is so yes.
Yes.
They identify you by your worship pattern, right?
Okay.
You have people that worship Igwe, you have people that worship Umaluku, you have people that worship Shango, and so many others. And they are proud of it. Their children knows. You can go up and say you want to become a bishop tomorrow, no problem. You ask yourself, one of the renowned pastors in Benin then, in the early days, who was his father? His father was an Igwe worshiper, but that doesn't stop him from going to church. So what I'm trying to say in essence is until they allow for live and let live. I have watched Indian films, I've watched Chinese films. You see that they don't miss this whole thing. They are still having their small gods on the back of their door.
Yeah.
They are still worshiping what they are worshiping, Muslim and all. So why is our own different? Why can't we combine everything and grow?
Okay, so JJ, you are not you have no objections with the sacrifices placed at Rumokuta Junction or Rumosi.
No objection at all. See, Jude, let me tell you, you should even be thanking God that they are doing the sacrifice.
Okay.
What would have happened in those junctions?
Good morning. Thank you for your patience, please.
Yeah, let me equally greet the respected traditional men, both the one that has just spoken and China himself.
Good morning, Mufasa.
Good morning.
Well, I do not have any problem with our traditions. I mean, for me, I think it's a very beautiful way of life, even before the advent of, our colonial masters. But for me, I equally think that time has changed. Okay, it will be an eyesore.
Yeah.
Sorry to use that word. To be moving around the street of Port Harcourt, and you begin to see sacrifices on a junction. In fact, I do not think with the kind of hunger and starvation in the land, there are places you won't place that thing. It's not even dogs that will go after those things. It will be, human beings like us who are very, very hungry. Mahatma Gandhi said something. He said, with the level of hunger, in the world today, that God cannot appear to man except in the form of bread. So imagine if somebody that is very hungry, is at time, walking past a junction, and you see somebody, has gone to prepare rice or beans, or jollof rice for that matter. And yet, in one of the junctions in Job, my brother, the gods no go see that food chop. So, I think it would be nice to be reaching our street with sacrifices, especially by this time. You can do that in your villages, but bringing it down to the city, for me, is a no-no.
That's why he has the objection.